enough is enough demonstration na NDC for ekokoye no Ghana for be braba abonten e ka nsema a omko hu no ho na emom no ndame mu kasa die Sammy Gyamfi ankasa de odi demonstration anim no aba abonten explain at the crop opportunity a anasa the crop opportunity omko hu EC office honum na after demonstration no waba abonten a wo kire mu say omo ya transfer omo votes afri eye omo constituency no akọ another constituency say different constituency no ni nyina strategy ketwa bi a NPP for use ye de race ankofo we eni nti no motimi change omo vote anasa omo voting point a ewo omo constituency de call eye voting point foforo we ensem Sammy Gyamfi kan Sammy Gyamfi kan sem we ewo eye Metro TV and there eye discussion bi omo ye was no wo kire mu say the information that wonya e kire mu say onkofo na transfer omo votes free that particular omo constituency eko constituency foforo no ni nyina na say onkofo bi ba omo nche be ka kire omo say omo omo loan na loan omo na just omo de omo voters ID card eba nti voters ID card omo de bre omo no e na omo use eye voters ID number no e dey say adwuma ni nti wo omo a transfer omo votes free eye voting point omo anka some voting point to another voting point as a constituency foforo no sankofo ni nyina investigation e kire mu say omo the loan a strategy in a real warm no mo targeting ema ehunu say sankofo nso aye omo ID card e nkofo a omo ye NDC for abane de NDC for no beto omo nso no mo say ade we edi wo mo we nsema Sammy Gyamfi ebe kan Metro TV
were only able to get a provisional register few hours to the commencement of voter exhibition. We did not even get the register 24 hours before the commencement of exhibition. Why? Because the EC, the G. Mensah Bosman-Asare-led Electoral Commission, knew that they had manipulated the register. And so they just wanted to hinder our ability to scrutinize it and to detect what they had done to the register. But thanks to the leadership of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the competent men and women we have in our elections directorate, led by my good brother Dr. Manebuama, we burned the midnight candle and we went into the register. We probed it. And from the preliminary painstaking investigation we conducted, we saw things that blew our mind, things that shocked us. You see, many a times when you hear the NPP or the Electoral Commission responding to the NDC, they say that, oh, the EC is not a perfect institution. No voter register is perfect. Whatever, the reason for exhibition is to detect errors so that they can be corrected. Look, the issues we are talking about are not the kind of errors that can even be corrected through exhibition. Some of the things we have detected have never happened in the history of this fourth Republican democracy. What am I talking about? Number one, you know of it, the Pusiga case, where we found out at the time that 38 voters registered to vote in Tamale South and Sanerigo. 38 at the time, but because now the number has increased, had been transferred to Pusiga. And for those who don't know where Pusiga is, Tamale South is in northern region, Pusiga is in Upper East. It is a border town in Upper East. And these people who have been transferred there have never been to Pusiga. They don't live in Pusiga. And they were transferred by the EC's district returning officer without the consent of the people, without their notice, without their knowledge. Something which is supposed to be impossible in our electoral system. Because per our electoral laws, specifically Regulation 22 of CI 91, as amended, you can only transfer a voter when he physically comes to the district office of the EC to physically apply for transfer. And when he's able to justify that application, then you transfer the person when he's live in front of you. That is the law. That is what we have done since time immemorial. Doc, to our total shock, disgust, and utter dismay, we found out that this EC electoral officer just sat in his office, took the voters register, took the people's pictures, showed it to the machine, and the machine was able to transfer them. something which should not happen. And you know, people are just looking at what happened without looking at the circumstances of what happened. If you look at the circumstances surrounding that incident, you will know that it was an election rigging agenda.
Explain that.
Because all these people, and number one, let me even state it now. It is not only in Pusiga that it happened, as Sunafo South, Honorable Eric Opoku's constituency.
What exactly happened there?
There were 32 people transferred to Insuatre without their knowledge, without their notice, without their consent.
Done by who?
Done by the EC electoral officer, with their pictures in the register. They never visited that constituency to transfer their votes, that district office. They have never stayed there. They have never been there. German North, at least, as of 2 days ago when we presented our petition to the EC, 10. Oforukom, we have some there. Tolom, we have some there. Scattered across the country. In all these cases, you know how it happened. A group of people claiming to work for government went to these communities and met these voters and took their ID cards that government was going to give them loans and took their voter ID numbers. So it stands to reason that they must have profiled them before they took their ID cards from them.
Hold on a minute, Sammy. Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
What is the procedure for transferring one's votes from his polling station to another place?
Yeah.
What's the process?
So the process is that if you want to transfer your votes, you must have stayed in that new polling station you are seeking to transfer your vote to at least 12 months, within the 12 months preceding that transfer. And then you go to an EC office, the district office, and meet the EC returning officer.
Can you go there at any time? Or it is
No, you
during
go there
a period
designated for transfer.
So there's a period for transfer of
Yes,
votes.
there's a period for transfer.
And if you seek to transfer your votes, you physically go there.
Physically.
And then you are presented with a form.
You are presented, you go there, you are presented with a form, you fill the form, you prove that indeed you live in that community, because you can be challenged.
Yes.
Political party agents are there, at least for the just ended one we did. The agents are there. So you prove that. And then the EC officer, when he's satisfied that you meet the requirements, will now do the transfer in your presence. So there is a technology called liveliness test, which is supposed to be in the EC machine, the system they use for the transfer, to ensure that only a live photograph is admitted for transfer. So that if you go and pick Randy Abe's photo in the daily graphic and you show it to the machine, because it is not live, you can't transfer Randy Abe. It is only when Randy Abe is there in the district office live that the machine will recognize his photo and do the transfer. Now in this case, the director of electoral services of the EC, one Mr. Banu Bio, who I met on TV3 last Saturday.
Before you get to him, just hold on. I still want us to understand the process. Now, so if I want a transfer effected for me, where do I go to? Do I go to where my current registration exists?
No, you go to where you want to transfer the vote to.
Okay. Yes. So if I vote at Ladadikotopo. Okay. So if I want to vote as a Oforikrom DA, I'll go to Oforikrom DA. Physically.
Yes.
And then the Oforikrom DA returning officer would be able to access my details from Ladadikotopo.
Yes.
And do the transfer.
Yes.
So what it means is that all the district returning officers have access to the system.
Yes.
Not so?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. But they have access, they can only have access to the system when the EC designate a particular period for transfer.
Yes.
During fallow periods, they cannot have access.